Hello everyone. In this episode, we cover the topic why the South China Sea is one of the most dangerous regions in the world. I wish to begin it now. Few regions in the world combine geography, economics, and military power as intensely as the South China Sea. This vast body of water lies between East Asia and Southeast Asia and connects some of the most dynamic economies on the planet. It is not simply a regional sea, it is one of the central arteries of global trading system. Every year, enormous volumes of commercial shipping moves through these waters. Oil tankers carrying energy from the Middle East, container ships transporting electronics and manufactured goods from East Asia, and bulk carriers transporting raw materials all converge in this maritime corridor. Yet beneath these busy shipping lanes lies one of the most complicated territorial disputes in modern history. Several nations claim overlapping portions of the same islands, reefs, and maritime zones. These disputes have produced diplomatic confrontations, naval patrols, and a growing military presence. To understand why the South China Sea is often described as one of the most dangerous regions in the world, it is necessary to examine its geography, historical claims, economic significance, and strategic importance. The South China Sea covers roughly 3.5 million square kilometers, making it one of the largest marginal seas on the earth. It is bordered by several coastal states, including China, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Taiwan. Scattered throughout the sea are several groups of islands and coral reefs. The most important among them is Spratly Islands, Paracel Island, Scarborough Shoal. Many of these geographic features are extremely small. Some are little more than rocks or submerged reefs that appear only at a low tide. Despite their modest size, these islands carry enormous strategic and economic importance. Why tiny islands matter? International maritime law allows coastal states to claim maritime zones extending outward from land territory. Under the framework established by the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, countries may claim an exclusive economic zone extending up to 200 nautical miles from their coastline. Within this zone, states have rights to exploit natural resources such as fisheries, oils, and natural gas. This means that control over even a small island could potentially grant access to vast surrounding maritime resources. For this reason, even the smallest reefs and shoals in South China Sea have become strategically valuable. Historical background of the dispute. The origins of South China Sea dispute extend back several decades. Historical records from various countries indicate that fishermen and traders from different coastal societies used these islands long before modern national boundaries existed. After Second World War, several governments began formalizing territorial claims over different island groups. The most controversial claim comes from China, which asserts historical rights over most of the South China Sea through what is commonly referred as the Nine Dash Line. This boundary encloses a large portion of the sea and overlaps with claims made by other coastal states. As a result, multiple governments assert sovereignty over the same maritime territory. Competing claims. Today, several governments maintain overlapping claims in the South China Sea. These include China, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, Taiwan. Because many of these claims overlap geographically, disputes over sovereignty have persisted for decades. How important is the South China Sea for global trade? One of the primary reasons this region attracts global attention is its role in international commerce. The South China Sea is one of the busiest maritime trade corridors on Earth. Every year, between 3 and $5 trillion worth of global trade passes through these waters. This represents roughly one quarter to one third of all maritime trade worldwide. Ships transporting oil, natural gas, electronics, machinery, and raw materials regularly cross the sea. Because so much global trade passes through this region, disruptions could have consequences far beyond Asia. Countries whose trade depends heavily on this region. These are the countries that are dependent largely on this particular region. China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines. For many of these countries, the South China Sea forms part of main maritime route linking East Asia with Middle East and Europe. Energy shipments from the Persian Gulf frequently pass through the Strait of Malacca before entering South China Sea. Strategic military importance of South China Sea. Beyond trade and resources, the region also holds major military significance. Several countries have established military facilities on islands and reefs. These facilities may include airstrips, radar systems, naval ports, missile installations. Control of these positions can extend surveillance capabilities across large areas of the sea. This has transformed the region into a significant arena for strategic competition. Who supervises or monitors the region? Unlike some international waterways, the South China Sea does not have a single governing authority. However, several organizations influence maritime governance. One important legal framework is the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which defines maritime boundaries and navigation rights. Another regional body is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, which promotes dialogue and attempts to establish rules for conduct in disputed waters. Shipping safety and maritime regulations are influenced by the International Maritime Organization, who patrols or demonstrates military power. Several countries conduct naval patrols in the region. These patrols serve to demonstrate sovereignty, protect fishing fleets, and monitor maritime activity. Among these countries most active in these waters are China, United States, Vietnam, Philippines. Naval ships and Coast Guard vessels frequently operate in contested areas. Do other nations want to supervise the region? Some countries emphasize the importance of keeping these waters open to international navigation. For example, the United States regularly conducts operations designed to demonstrate freedom of navigation. Other countries supporting open sea lanes include Japan, Australia, India. These countries do not claim territory but seek to ensure that international shipping routes remain accessible. Why the region is geopolitically sensitive? The South China Sea combines several factors that make it strategically important. It contains vital trade routes, potential energy resources, overlapping territorial claims, competing military deployments. This combination makes it one of the most sensitive geopolitical flashpoints in the world. What actually happens when naval ships meet in disputed waters? Encounters between naval vessels occur frequently in contested maritime regions. However, these interactions are typically managed carefully to prevent escalation. Detecting and tracking. Modern warships constantly monitor their surroundings using radar and surveillance systems. When another vessel enters the area, it is often detected many kilometers away. Commanders begin tracking the ship's speed, direction, and identity long before visual occurs. Aircraft or drone may also observe the encounter from above. Radio warnings. When ships approach closer distances, communications usually begins over international radio channels. One vessel may warn the other that it is entering waters claimed by a particular country. The other ship may respond that it is operating legally under the international law. These exchanges are typically firm but controlled. Shadowing and escorting. A common tactic used by naval forces is shadowing. In this situation, one ship follows another at a distance while monitoring its activities. Shadowing allows a country to assert its presence without direct confrontation. Control maneuvering. Ships may also perform deliberate maneuvers. For example, one vessel may sail across the path of another or position itself between disputed island and a foreign ship. Such maneuvers are executed carefully to avoid collisions. Surveillance from air and space. Encounters between naval vessels are often observed by maritime patrol aircraft and satellites. These platforms record movements and provide intelligence to national command centers. Rules to prevent escalation. Navies operate under established maritime safety rules. The most important framework is the international regulations for preventing collisions at sea. These rules define how ships should maneuver when approaching each other. The following incidents are rare but dangerous incidents. Although most encounters remain controlled, occasional incidents occur. These may involve ships coming dangerously close to a Coast Guard vessel attempting to block fishing boats. Such incidents highlight the fragile nature of the dispute. Why these encounters matter? These interactions at sea are not merely symbolic. Each, metro, each patrol each patrol represents a demonstration of sovereignty and national interest. Daily naval encounters form part of larger strategic competition between regional powers and global naval forces. Conclusion. The South China Sea stands at the intersection of global trade, energy security, and geopolitical rivalry. Some islands scattered across the sea have become focal points for national sovereignty and military strategy. At the same time, the sea's importance to international commerce means that the stability in this region affects the entire global economy. For these reasons, the South China Sea remains one of the most closely watched and potentially volatile regions in international affairs. So that's our topic on why the South China Sea is one of the most dangerous regions in the world. Thank you for tuning in with us. We'll get back to you with more topics like these. Have a great day.